Get away from me. Lila's voice cracked as she shoved through the pulsing crowd, neon lights strobing across her terror-stricken face. The bass thundered through her chest, masking her ragged breathing as she glanced back at the entrance. Jax's silhouette filled the doorway, his corrupt cop badge glinting under the disco ball, the same badge he'd flashed before running her sister off that bridge. Bodies pressed against her, sweat and perfume choking the air. She needed to disappear, to blend in, to become invisible. Her eyes darted across the dance floor until they locked onto him. Tall, devastatingly handsome in a tailored black suit that screamed money and danger. He leaned against the marble bar, dark eyes scanning the crowd with predatory calm. Without thinking, Lila launched herself at him. "Kiss me," she gasped, grabbing his lapels. "Please, I—" His mouth crashed onto hers before she could finish. The kiss exploded between them. Fierce, desperate, all-consuming. His hand fisted in her hair while the other wrapped around her waist, pulling her against his solid chest. She melted into him, her fear transforming into liquid fire as his tongue swept against hers. The crowd erupted around them, phones flashing, voices cheering. Someone whistled. Someone else shouted, "Get a room." When they broke apart, his dark eyes held hers captive. "Well, sweetheart," his voice was silk over steel. "That was unexpected. I'm sorry, Lila started to pull away, but his grip tightened. "Don't apologize for the best kiss of my life." His smile was predatory. "But you picked the wrong stranger. Back off." His voice boomed across the VIP section as Jax's men approached, their hands moving toward concealed weapons. "She's my girlfriend now." The crowd cheered louder, more phones appearing. The video was already going viral, #Mafia kiss trending in real time. Jax's men hesitated, recognizing something in the stranger's commanding presence. They retreated toward the exit, but Jax himself remained, his pale eyes promising retribution. "You just kissed the devil, sweetheart," the stranger whispered against her ear, his breath sending shivers down her spine. "Now you're mine." "What?" Lila's blood turned to ice. "Who are you?" "Enzo Rossi." The name hit her like a physical blow. Every news report, every whispered street conversation. The most feared name in New York's underworld. "And you just made yourself the most famous woman in the city." Her knees nearly buckled. "Oh God. Oh God. What have I done?" "Survived." His thumb traced her trembling jaw. "For now." Before she could protest, his arm encircled her waist, guiding her through the parting crowd toward a private booth elevated above the dance floor. Velvet ropes moved aside without question. Bouncers nodded with reverent fear. "Let me go," she hissed, struggling against his iron grip. This was a mistake. No mistake. Enzo settled her beside him on black leather, his body caging her in. "You chose me, Lila Hayes." Her blood froze. "How do you know my name?" "I know everything about everyone who enters my territory." His fingers traced lazy patterns on her bare shoulder. 25 years old. Art teacher at Lincoln Elementary. Sister died in a car accident 6 months ago. Suspicious circumstances involving a certain corrupt detective. "Stop." Tears burned her eyes. "Just stop. Jax murdered her, didn't he?" Enzo's voice turned lethal. "And now he's hunting you." The booth felt like a trap, beautiful and suffocating. Crystal glasses caught the strobing lights, expensive whiskey gleaming amber. Below them, the crowd danced, oblivious to the predator in their midst. Before we dive deeper into Lila's nightmare, Enzo's voice seemed to shift, becoming warmer, more conversational. "Tell me in the comments, where are you watching from? New York? London? Tokyo? I love connecting with you all. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell because this story is about to get insane. Trust me, you don't want to miss what happens next." Lila's phone buzzed incessantly. Notifications flooded her screen, the kiss video exploding across social media. Comments poured in. "Who is SHE? Lucky girl. Enzo Rossi has a girlfriend. This is insane," she whispered, staring at the screen. "Millions of views already. Fame has a price." Enzo plucked the phone from her trembling hands. "You're under my protection now." "I didn't ask for your protection. You did the moment you kissed me." His eyes glittered dangerously. "In my world, That's a claim. A public one. Across the club, Jax typed furiously on his phone. The message appeared on her stolen device seconds later. Enjoy your Mafia boyfriend. When I'm done with him, you'll beg me to finish what I started with your sister. Enzo read over her shoulder, his jaw tightening to stone. Interesting. He'll kill you, Lila whispered. He killed Emma and he'll kill you too. Let him try. Enzo's laugh was cold music. But first, we're leaving. Together. I'm not going anywhere with you. You have two choices, sweetheart. He stood, straightening his suit jacket. Come with me willingly, or I carry you out. Either way, you're mine now. The crowd below began chanting. Kiss. 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 Enzo's smile turned wicked. They want an encore. No way in hell. Then we do this the hard way. He scooped her up effortlessly, ignoring her struggles. Security. 3 massive men in black suits appeared instantly. Clear a path to the car, Enzo commanded. The lady needs fresh air. Put me down. Lila beat against his chest, but he was immovable granite. Stop fighting, or I'll kiss you again right here. His threat sent unwanted heat through her veins. And this time, I won't stop. The crowd parted like the Red Sea, phones following their every move. Flash photography turned the night into a strobe-lit nightmare. Outside, a black SUV waited, engine purring. This is kidnapping, Lila screamed as he deposited her in the back seat. This is survival. Enzo slid in beside her, nodding to his driver. Drive. As they pulled away from the curb, Lila caught sight of Jax in the side mirror, his face twisted with rage. He was already dialing someone, orchestrating his next move. The viral video played on the SUV screens, their kiss from multiple angles, the crowd's ecstatic reaction, Enzo's possessive claim. The comments kept flowing. Power couple. She's so lucky. When's the wedding? Welcome to your new life, Enzo murmured, his hand finding hers in the darkness. Try to survive it. You're insane if you think I'm staying quiet, Lila snarled, clawing at the SUV's door handle. The child locks had already engaged with a soft click. Settle down, Wildcat. Enzo's voice remained maddeningly calm as Manhattan's glittering skyline rushed past the tinted windows. You're safer with me than anywhere else in this city. Safer? She whirled on him, fury blazing in her green eyes. You're a murderer. A criminal. I've read the newspapers. Don't believe everything you read. His fingers drummed against his thigh, a tell she'd learned to recognize. The press loves a villain. The SUV glided through empty streets, past late-night diners and closed boutiques. Lila pressed her face to the glass, memorizing the route, calculating escape possibilities. Her reflection stared back, lipstick smeared, hair wild from their encounter, looking nothing like the composed teacher who'd entered that club hours ago. Where are you taking me? Home. My apartment is in Brooklyn. My home. Enzo's tone brooked no argument. You'll be staying there until this situation resolves. This situation? Hysteria crept into her voice. You mean until you decide to dispose of me like Emma? Something dangerous flickered across his features. I had nothing to do with your sister's death. But Jax did. Yes. The simple admission hung between them like a loaded gun. Lila studied his profile. Sharp jawline, straight nose, lips that had claimed hers so thoroughly. Even in the dim interior, he radiated lethal elegance. Why should I believe you? Because if I wanted you dead, sweetheart, you'd already be bleeding out in that club. The SUV pulled up to a gleaming residential tower in Midtown, its facade all glass and steel reaching toward the stars. A doorman in burgundy livery rushed to open their door, his practiced smile never wavering despite Lila's disheveled appearance. Good evening, Mr. Rossi. James. Enzo's acknowledgement was curt as he guided Lila across the marble lobby. His hand on her lower back burned through the thin fabric of her dress. The private elevator required a key card. As they ascended past floors of luxury apartments, Lila's stomach dropped with each passing number. 43. 44. 45. The penthouse level. Welcome to your new cage, Enzo said as the door slid open. The penthouse was a study in masculine luxury, floor-to-ceiling windows offering a panoramic view of the city, leather furniture arranged around a marble fireplace, abstract paintings worth more than most people's homes. But Lila noticed the details that betrayed its true nature: security cameras in every corner, reinforced glass, and the subtle bulges under the jackets of two men stationed near the entrance. "This is beautiful," she whispered despite herself. "And secure." Enzo shrugged out of his suit jacket, revealing a shoulder holster. "No one enters without my permission. Or leaves, apparently. You're a quick learner." One of the guards approached, his movements precise and military. "Boss, we've swept the perimeter. All clear." "Thank you, Marcus. Any word from our friends downtown?" Jax tried to follow, but we lost him in traffic. "He's regrouping." Enzo nodded, dismissing the man with a gesture. Alone now, the penthouse felt intimate and threatening simultaneously. Lila wandered toward the windows, her heels clicking against polished marble. "Don't even think about it," Enzo warned. "Bulletproof glass, 45 stories up." I wasn't planning to jump. She traced patterns on the cool surface. "Just thinking about freedom." "Freedom's overrated. I prefer control." She spun to face him, anger reigniting. "Of course you do. That's what this is about, control. You couldn't stand that I kissed you without permission, so now you're keeping me like a pet. If I wanted a pet, I'd buy a dog." Enzo moved closer, predator stalking prey. "What I want is to keep you alive." "Why?" The question seemed to surprise him. He paused, studying her face as if searching for something. "Because dead women don't kiss back." Heat flooded her cheeks. That kiss meant nothing. "Liar." His thumb traced her jawline. "I felt you respond. Felt you melt against me." Before she could protest, his phone buzzed. He stepped away to answer, his voice dropping to a lethal whisper. Lila strained to hear the conversation, catching fragments about territories and shipments and someone named Vincent. "We'll discuss this tomorrow," Enzo concluded, ending the call. "Business never sleeps." Neither do kidnap victims, apparently. "You're not a victim, Lila. You're a guest. Guests can leave. Not when their lives are in danger." A knock at the door interrupted their standoff. Marcus returned with several other men, all wearing expensive suits that couldn't quite hide their dangerous edges. Lila recognized the type from crime documentaries: enforcers, soldiers in Enzo's organization. Meeting in the dining room, Enzo announced. "Lila, you'll join us." "I will not." "You will." Steel entered his voice. "As my fiancé, you need to understand the business." "Fiancé." The word came out as a squeak. "Are you completely?" "Gentlemen, meet my future wife." Enzo's arm snaked around her waist, pulling her against his side. "Anyone who touches her dies slowly." The dining room rivaled fine restaurants: crystal chandeliers, mahogany tables seating 20, oil paintings of long-dead patriarchs watching from gilded frames. The men took their seats with military precision, leaving the chair beside Enzo for Lila. She remained standing. "I'm not sitting through some Mafia meeting." "Sit." The command carried absolute authority. "Make me." Wrong words. Enzo moved faster than thought, his hands on her waist, lifting her into the chair before she could blink. His fingers lingered possessively on her shoulders. Much better. The men around the table watched this display with varying degrees of amusement and calculation. A silver-haired man with cruel eyes leaned forward. "Boss, she's spirited." "That's what I like about her, Vincent." Enzo's smile was all teeth. Spirit can be channeled. Vincent's gaze lingered on Lila's décolletage. "Pretty little thing. Fresh meat." The words hit like a slap. Lila felt heat crawling up her neck, humiliation burning in her chest. These men saw her as an object, a trophy to be displayed and discussed. "Careful, Vincent." Enzo's voice dropped to a whisper. "That's my woman you're eyeing." "Of course, boss. Just appreciating your taste." The meeting continued around her, discussions of territory disputes, drug shipments, rival families. Lila tried to fade into the background, but every man's gaze returned to her periodically, assessing, evaluating. She was the newest acquisition in Enzo's collection. Rage built steadily in her chest. When Enzo's hand moved to rest possessively on her thigh, she'd had enough. The crystal water glass shattered against the wall. Silence fell like a hammer. Every man in the room tensed, hands moving toward concealed weapons. Enzo's grip on her thigh tightened painfully. "Excuse us." His tone remained conversational, but murder lurked in his eyes. "My fiancé needs air." He hauled her from the chair, his fingers digging into her arm as he marched her toward the elevator. The doors closed on curious stares and whispered conversations. "That was incredibly stupid," Enzo growled as they descended. "I don't care." Lila wrenched against his grip. "I won't sit there like some trophy while your friends undress me with their eyes. They respect what's mine. I'm not yours." The elevator opened onto a lower floor, a private gym complete with boxing ring, weight equipment, and what looked suspiciously like a shooting range. Enzo dragged her inside, finally releasing her arm. "You want to fight? Fine. Let's fight properly." He tossed her a pair of boxing gloves. "Put them on." "You're insane. I'm giving you a chance to hit me legally. Take it." The gloves were too big, but Lila strapped them on anyway. Fury gave her strength as she swung wildly at his head. Enzo ducked effortlessly, his movements fluid and precise. Sloppy form. Again. She charged him, throwing punches with all her pent-up rage and fear. He deflected every blow, occasionally landing light taps that demonstrated his complete control over the situation. "Better, but you're telegraphing." "I hate you," she panted, sweat stinging her eyes. "Good. Hate keeps you alive." A vase crashed somewhere above them, the sound of shattering ceramic followed by shouting voices. Enzo's head snapped toward the ceiling, his body coiling like a spring. "Stay here." He moved toward a wall panel, revealing an arsenal of weapons. "Don't move." "What's happening?" "Jax is making his move." Gunfire erupted overhead, sharp cracks followed by the heavier boom of shotguns. Men screamed. Glass exploded. The building's alarm system began wailing. "Okay, I need to know." Enzo's voice shifted again, becoming that strange conversational tone. "Are you Team Enzo or Team Run Girl Run? Drop a fire if you think Enzo's protective side is sexy, or a eyes if you think Lila should grab that gun and bolt. Also, smash that like button if this tension is killing you as much as it's killing me." Reality crashed back like a physical blow. More gunfire above, closer now. Enzo grabbed a submachine gun, checking the clip with practiced efficiency. "They breached the lobby," he said grimly. "Professional job." "How many?" "Too many." He pressed a pistol into her hands. "Safety's off. Point and squeeze. Don't think, just shoot." The weapon felt impossibly heavy. "I can't." "You can. You will." His hands covered hers on the grip. "Because the alternative is watching them do to you what they did to Emma." The elevator dinged. Footsteps echoed in the corridor outside the gym. Enzo positioned himself between Lila and the door, weapon raised. "Remember," he whispered, "when I move, you run for the stairs. Don't look back." "What about you?" "I'll be right behind you." The gym doors exploded inward. Down, Enzo's command cut through the chaos as bullets sprayed across the gym equipment. Lila dove behind a weight bench, her heart hammering against her ribs. The pistol trembled in her sweaty palms as she watched Enzo move with lethal grace, his shots precise and economical. 3 attackers dropped before they cleared the doorway. "Kitchen knives against machine guns," Enzo muttered, ejecting an empty magazine. "Jax hired amateurs." "Are they dead?" "Very." He helped her to her feet, scanning the corridor beyond. "But more are coming." They moved through smoke-filled hallways, past overturned furniture and bullet holes in expensive artwork. Enzo's penthouse had become a war zone, crystal chandeliers reduced to glittering debris on marble floors. "Boss." Marcus appeared from a side room, blood streaming from a head wound. "Vincent's been hit." They came through the service elevator. "Vincent's expendable. What about the woman?" "Safe in the panic room with the others." Enzo nodded grimly. "Seal the building. No one leaves until I say so." "Copy that." As Marcus disappeared, Lila grabbed Enzo's arm. "What woman? Who else is here?" "Business associates." His evasion was obvious. "Nothing that concerns you." "Everything about this concerns me now." A figure emerged from the shadows, tall, lean, with the same dark eyes as Enzo but twisted by jealousy and resentment. He held a gun trained on both of them. Hello, brother. Enzo's face turned to stone. Rico, I should have known. You always were too trusting. Rico's smile was poison. Did you really think I'd let you claim another prize without sharing? Lila isn't a prize. No? Then why are you keeping her locked up like a pet canary? Rico's gaze crawled over her body. Maybe I should see what all the fuss is about. The gun in Lila's hand discharged before she realized she'd pulled the trigger. Rico screamed, clutching his thigh as blood seeped between his fingers. You shot me. His voice cracked with disbelief. You actually shot me. Enzo stared at her with something approaching respect. Nice grouping. I was aiming for his chest. We'll work on that. Rico collapsed against the wall, his weapon clattering across marble. This isn't over, Enzo. Jax offered me $50 million for her. Think I'm the only one tempted. Your family. Family doesn't mean shit when you're starving for scraps from your table. Rico pressed his hand against the wound. He knows about the Hayes connection, about what really happened to her sister. Lila's blood turned to ice. What connection? Enzo's jaw tightened. Nothing you need to worry about. Tell me. She swung the gun toward him. What aren't you saying? Put the weapon down, Lila. Not until you explain what he meant about Emma. The standoff stretched taut as a wire. Rico laughed weakly from his position on the floor. Oh, this is rich. She doesn't know, does she? Shut up, Rico. Your beloved sister wasn't the innocent victim you think she was. Rico's eyes glittered with malicious joy. She was one of us, a courier for the Rossi family. Liar. But even as Lila spoke, pieces began clicking together. Emma's sudden wealth, the designer clothes, the expensive car she claimed came from a promotion at work. Show her the tattoo, Rico taunted. On her shoulder blade, 3 roses with thorns. Enzo's silence was confirmation enough. Lila's legs nearly buckled. Emma was involved with the Mafia? She needed the money, Enzo said quietly. Student loans, medical bills for your mother. I gave her work. You gave her a death sentence. I gave her protection. Jax killed her because she refused to inform on my operations. The truth hit like a physical blow. Emma hadn't died in some random accident. She'd been murdered for loyalty. For refusing to betray the man now holding Lila captive. Take me to the gym, she whispered. I need to learn how to use this properly. Enzo studied her face, recognizing the shift from victim to willing participant. Are you sure? Jax killed my sister because she wouldn't betray you. Now he wants to kill me to get to you. She ejected the pistol's magazine, checking the remaining rounds like she'd seen in movies. Teach me to fight back. The private gym had been hastily repaired, equipment moved aside to create an open training area. Enzo stripped to his undershirt, revealing a torso mapped with scars and tattoos, a history of violence written on olive skin. First lesson, he said, positioning her hands on the weapon. Shooting isn't about strength. It's about control. His body pressed against her back as he adjusted her stance, his breath warm against her neck. Despite everything, the danger, the betrayals, the blood, heat pooled low in her belly. Focus on the target, not the gun. His hands covered hers, guiding her aim toward paper silhouettes across the room. Breathe. Squeeze. The pistol kicked against her palm. The bullet struck center mass. Better. His voice was rougher now. Again. They worked for an hour, her accuracy improving with each shot. When she managed 5 consecutive bullseyes, Enzo nodded approval. Now hand-to-hand combat. I don't know how. You'll learn fast or die slow. Your choice. He came at her without warning, his movements controlled but relentless. Lila ducked, weaved, threw wild punches that he deflected effortlessly. Sweat dampened her dress, her carefully arranged hair falling loose around her shoulders. Use your environment, Enzo instructed, backing her against the weight rack. Everything's a weapon. She grabbed a 20-pound dumbbell, swinging it toward his head. He caught her wrist, twisting until she dropped the weight. Good instinct. Poor execution. Their faces were inches apart now, both breathing hard from exertion. The space between them crackled with tension, fear and fury, and something darker, more primal. Why are you doing this? She whispered. Doing what? Training me. Protecting me. You could have let Jax take me and avoided this war. Enzo's hand cupped her face, his thumb tracing the line of her cheekbone. Because when I look at you, I don't see a victim. I see a survivor. I see a monster when I look at you. Good. Monsters are harder to kill. He stepped back, breaking the spell. Enough for night. You need rest. Where am I sleeping? My room. Absolutely not. The guest room then. But the door stays open, and Marcus will be outside. I don't need a babysitter. You need someone watching your back. Jax won't give up, and Rico's betrayal proves I can't trust my own family. They rode the elevator to the residential floors in silence. The guest room was luxurious, silk sheets, marble bathroom, a balcony overlooking Central Park. It was also clearly a prison, with reinforced locks and bulletproof windows. There are clothes in the closet, Enzo said from the doorway. We'll continue training tomorrow. Wait. Lila turned from the window. Tell me about Emma. The truth this time. He leaned against the doorframe, suddenly looking older than his 27 years. She was smart, brave, reminded me of someone I used to know. Who? My sister, Maria. His voice grew distant. She died when I was 15. Different circumstances, same outcome, caught in the crossfire of someone else's war. Is that why you helped Emma? Maybe. Or maybe I was just tired of watching innocent people suffer for my choices. The vulnerability in his admission surprised her. This wasn't the cold mafia boss from the club or the ruthless killer from the gym. This was just a man haunted by loss. Get some sleep, he said, turning to leave. Enzo. Yeah, thank you. For training me. For telling me the truth about Emma. Don't thank me yet, sweetheart. Tomorrow, the real war begins. After he left, Lila explored her gilded cage. The closet held designer clothes in her exact size. Someone had done their homework. The bathroom was stocked with expensive toiletries. The balcony door was locked, but she could see the city sprawling endlessly below. She changed into silk pajamas, her mind racing. Every revelation had shifted her understanding of the situation. Emma involved with the Mafia. Enzo, haunted by his own losses. Rico's betrayal. Jax's relentless pursuit. A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. Enzo stood in the doorway with a bottle of whiskey and 2 glasses. Thought you might need this, he said, pouring amber liquid into both glasses. It helps with the nightmares. Do you have nightmares? Every night. He handed her a glass, their fingers brushing. About the people I couldn't save. They sat on opposite ends of the room's leather sofa, the whiskey burning warm paths down their throats. The alcohol loosened tongues and lowered guards. Tell me about Maria, Lila said quietly. 16 years old. Beautiful. Wanted to be a teacher, like you. Enzo stared into his glass. The Colombians took her to get to my father. By the time we found her, he didn't finish. He didn't need to. I'm sorry. Don't be. Just understand why I won't let history repeat itself. Even if it means keeping me prisoner? Even then. They drank in companionable silence, the night city glittering beyond bulletproof glass. Despite everything, the violence, the deception, the impossible situation, Lila felt safer here than she had in months. Why did you really kiss me? Enzo asked suddenly. I told you. I was running from Jax. You could have hidden in the bathroom. Asked security for help. Called the police. His dark eyes held hers. But you chose to kiss a stranger instead. Heat climbed her neck. It seemed like the best option at the time. Liar. Excuse me? You saw something in me. Recognized something. He set down his glass, moving closer. The same thing I saw in you. And what's that? Someone worth saving. The space between them disappeared. His hand tangled in her hair as their mouths met. This kiss different from the desperate claiming in the club. This was exploration, revelation, 2 damaged souls finding solace in each other. When they broke apart, both were breathing hard. This is insane, Lila whispered. Completely. You're a criminal. I'm a schoolteacher. I've noticed. People will die because of this. Because of us. People die regardless. His thumb traced her lower lip. At least this way, we're not dying alone. A phone buzzed on the side table. Enzo grabbed it, his expression hardening as he read the message. What is it? Jax knows about the training. He's accelerating his timeline. Enzo stood, reaching for his jacket. We're out of time, Lila. Tomorrow, he comes for you with everything he has. Then we'd better be ready. She looked at the gun he'd given her, now resting on the coffee table beside their empty glasses. You said I was a survivor. Time to prove it. The window's unlocked, Marcus whispered through the door at dawn. Boss says you have 30 seconds when the cameras cycle. Lila's heart hammered as she crept toward the balcony. This was her chance. The fake escape Enzo had orchestrated to draw Jax into the open. She slipped through the gap in the bulletproof glass, rappelling down the emergency ladder to the parking garage. A black sedan waited, engine running. She climbed into the passenger seat, recognizing the driver as one of Enzo's men. Where to miss? The warehouse district, Pier 17. But as they drove through empty morning streets, something felt wrong. The driver's hands trembled on the wheel. His eyes kept darting to the rear-view mirror. Stop the car.
Can't do that, miss.
Boss's orders. The barrel of a gun pressed against the back of her neck. In the mirror, she saw Rico's bloody grin from the back seat. Surprise, sweetheart. Turns out 50 million buys a lot of loyalty. Enzo will kill you for this. Enzo won't live long enough. Rico's laugh was bitter. Jax is waiting with enough firepower to level city blocks. Your boyfriend's walking into a massacre. The warehouse loomed ahead, corrugated metal walls, broken windows, the stench of rotting fish from the nearby docks. Perfect place for an execution. They dragged her inside, past rusted machinery and oil-stained concrete. Jax waited in the center of the cavernous space, flanked by a dozen armed men. His corrupt cop badge caught the light filtering through skylights. Lila Hayes. His voice was silk over razors. You've led me quite a chase. Go to hell, Jax. After you. He nodded to his men. Secure her to the support beam. When Rossi arrives, I want him to see exactly what he's fighting for. Rope burned her wrists as they bound her upright against the steel column. Jax circled her like a shark scenting blood. Did you really think kissing some Mafia prince would save you? That going viral would protect you. His fingers traced her jawline with mock tenderness. I own this city's shadows. Every corrupt official, every dirty cop, every judge with gambling debts. The law answers to me. The law. Lila spat. You murdered my sister. Emma chose her fate when she refused my generous offer. Just like you're choosing yours now. Engines roared outside, multiple vehicles converging on the warehouse. Through dirty windows, Lila saw black SUVs taking defensive positions. Enzo had come, just as predicted. Right on schedule, Jax murmured. How romantic. Romeo coming to rescue his Juliet. This won't end the way you think. Won't it? I have superior numbers, tactical advantage, and you as leverage. What does Rossi have? The warehouse doors exploded inward, smoke grenades flooding the space with choking gray clouds. Gunfire erupted, automatic weapons chattering, bullets sparking off metal beams, men screaming orders through the chaos. Enzo emerged from the smoke like an avenging angel, his face a mask of lethal calm. He moved through Jax's men with surgical precision, each shot finding its mark. Marcus and 3 other soldiers flanked him, their formation tight and professional. Take cover. Jax screamed, diving behind an overturned forklift. A bullet whistled past Lila's ear, embedding in the beam beside her head. She twisted against the ropes, trying to make herself a smaller target as the battle raged around her. Through the smoke and muzzle flashes, she saw Enzo vault over a stack of shipping containers, landing in a tactical roll. His eyes found hers across the warehouse, and she saw something that terrified her more than the gunfire. Absolute, murderous rage. You want her? Enzo's voice boomed over the chaos. Come and take her. He stood exposed in the open, weapons trained on him from multiple angles. Every instinct screamed for him to seek cover, but he remained perfectly still. I'm here, Jax. Face to face, like men. It was tactical suicide. Noble and stupid and completely unnecessary. Unless Lila's training kicked in, muscle memory from their sessions in the penthouse gym. The rope around her wrists wasn't as tight as it appeared. Enzo had taught her about not manipulation, about creating false bindings that looked secure but could be slipped with the right pressure. Her hands came free just as Jax emerged from cover, rifle raised toward Enzo's chest. "You kill my brother." Rico appeared from behind another column, blood still seeping from his thigh wound. His shot went wide as Lila tackled him from behind. They crashed into a pile of shipping pallets, with splintering under their combined weight. Rico's gun skittered across concrete as they fought, her newfound training against his brute strength and desperation. "You chose the wrong side," Rico snarled, his hands closing around her throat. Lila remembered Enzo's words, "Everything's a weapon." Her fingers found a shard of broken wood, driving it into Rico's shoulder. He howled, releasing his grip. "I chose survival." She rolled away as Rico collapsed, clutching his wounds. Across the warehouse, Enzo pressed his advantage against Jax's remaining men. Bodies lay scattered among the machinery, the corrupt cops' forces decimated by superior tactics and training. But Jax still had one card to play. "Enough." His voice cracked like a whip. "Everyone stop shooting, or I detonate this place with all of us inside." In his hand, a dead man's switch connected to blocks of C4 wired throughout the support beams. Enough explosive to collapse the entire structure. The gunfire ceased. Smoke drifted lazily through shafts of morning light. The warehouse fell silent except for labored breathing and the distant cry of seagulls. "Smart man," Jack said. "Now drop your weapons. All of you." Enzo's pistol hit the concrete with metallic finality. His men followed suit, hands raised in surrender. "Excellent. Now we can discuss terms like civilized people." "What terms?" Enzo kept his voice steady. "You have us trapped. Make your demands. Simple. You leave New York.
Permanently.
Dissolve the Rossi organization and disappear. In exchange, I let your people live." "And Lila?" "Lila dies either way. She's seen too much, knows too much. But I'll make it quick if you cooperate." Enzo stepped forward, drawing Jax's attention. "Counteroffer. Let her go, and I'll give you something worth more than my organization." What could possibly be worth more than the city's most powerful crime family? Information about the Hayes Family Trust Fund. Lila's blood turned to ice. "What trust fund?" Jax's eyes lit with greed. "Go on." Emma wasn't just a courier. She was the sole heir to a $50 million inheritance from her grandfather's shipping empire. Money that legally transfers to Lila upon Emma's death. "You're lying." "Check the records." Hayes Maritime Holdings, Incorporated 1952. Emma found the documents 6 months before you killed her. She was going to claim the inheritance and disappear. The pieces clicked together in Lila's mind. Emma's secretive behavior, the expensive clothes, the mysterious meetings. She hadn't been working for the Mafia. She'd been preparing to claim their family legacy. If this is true, Jax breathed, then Lila's worth more alive than dead. Much more. But only if she cooperates. Dead heiresses can't sign legal documents. Jax lowered the detonator slightly, his corrupt cop's mind already calculating percentages and payoffs. "You're proposing a partnership? I'm proposing you take the money and disappear. Leave Lila and my organization alone, and you'll never want for anything again." Tempting. But I still need guarantees you won't come after me. A new voice cut through the tension. "The only guarantee you'll get is a quick death." Everyone spun toward the warehouse entrance, where a figure stood silhouetted against the morning sun. Female, armed, moving with deadly purpose. "Emma?" Lila's voice broke on her sister's name, but as the figure stepped into the light, Lila saw the truth. This wasn't Emma. This was a stranger wearing her sister's face, her features altered by plastic surgery and cold purpose.
Close.
"I'm Sarah Chun, FBI undercover. I've been wearing your sister's identity for 6 months, tracking both Jax and Rossi." The woman's weapon swept the room, covering all potential threats. "Jax Morrison, you're under arrest for corruption, murder, and conspiracy. Enzo Rossi, same charges plus racketeering." "Wait, before this gets even crazier." The voice that emerged from Lila's mouth was strange, conversational. "If you're loving this enemies to lovers energy, you need to check out my playlist of the most addictive Mafia romance stories. Link in the description." And comment more Yenzio if you want a whole series about this man, because honestly, same. Reality snapped back like a rubber band. The FBI agent, Sarah, continued her arrest speech, but Jax was already moving. The dead man's switch flew from his hand as he lunged toward Lila. If I'm going down, I'm taking her with me. Enzo intercepted him midair, both men crashing into the support beam where Lila had been tied. They rolled across concrete, fists flying, each fighting with the desperation of men with nothing left to lose. Sarah's weapon tracked the combatants, but she couldn't get a clean shot. Stay down, she shouted to Lila, who had already grabbed Rico's discarded pistol. Jax gained the upper hand, his police training evident as he pinned Enzo beneath his weight. His hands closed around Enzo's throat, squeezing with murderous intent. This is for my career, my reputation, everything you cost me. Enzo's face darkened, oxygen deprivation stealing his strength. His struggles grew weaker. Lila's training took over.
Stance. Aim. Breathe. Squeeze.
The gunshot echoed through the warehouse. Jax jerked backward, clutching his shoulder, his grip on Enzo broken. That was for Emma, Lila said quietly. Enzo rolled away, gasping for air. Sarah rushed forward with handcuffs, securing the wounded corrupt cop. It's over, Sarah announced. Federal agents are surrounding the building. Everyone stays until backup arrives.